Hi, I'm Alexa, and today we are going to talk about Governor Gavin Newsom of California. And we are going to talk about two things he is doing that are strategically possibly brilliant. I'm reserving judgment on whether they're actually brilliant, because it is going to depend on if they work. To understand the first one, we are going to have to take a step back. Within the past few months, the current resident of the White House has basically admitted he can't win without cheating, and he has asked Texas and other already gerrymandered red states to further gerrymander their states, to redraw their voting district maps before the next general election, the midterms, and all of that. Imagine doing that. Imagine saying, we know we're going to lose. Make it so we can't. Cheat. Cheat, cheat, cheat. Because that's what they're doing. Now, we could argue that Texas and some other states are already cheating. And let me give you some numbers about Texas. As of, I think this is 2024, the total registered voters in Texas is just shy of 17.5 million. Of them, over 8.1 million are registered as Democrats, and only 6.6 million are registered as Republicans, leaving unaffiliated 2.7 million. That is 46.52% Democrat, 37.75 Republican, and 15.73 unaffiliated. Now, I don't know the stats for Texas itself, but I do know that generally unaffiliated, you can kind of normally split them halfway, like they can be swayed either way. What's happened is that the state legislature is 59.7% Republican and only 40.3% Democrat. That's cheating. That means that by the numbers, they have added from 37% up to 59%. Okay? It's facts and figures. Can't deny it. How they are going to come up with 5 additional red seats is pretty very unlikely. Like by trying to do that, they are going to risk more of the seats that are already solidly gerrymandered red. There's no way around the math. Like, it always puts more at risk when you take more R's out of, or D's out of a section, right? Living in a state that is not gerrymandered, living in a state that has nonpartisan, equitably drawn maps, should be the norm for every single one of us in this country. Every single one of us should be in a state like that. Okay? And currently, I live in Iowa. We do. California does as well. What Gavin Newsom has done is he has come out and he has fully announced this plan. It's all out there. It will go to the voters this November to approve it. Essentially, they will change their maps for at least the 2028 season, and then it will revert back at a certain point. I thought the maps would be in effect for two general elections. So one would not be presidential, one would just be the Senate and their House of Representatives. But then I was thinking, no, because if they have to vote this November, I think that would still then be for next November, 26. So it would be 26 and 28. Who knows what year it is, you guys. He has said, though, and this is the piece that is brilliant. Okay? If you do this, Texas, if you cheat, we will follow your lead and gerrymander right back. But we'll only do it for long enough to go up and hopefully in the House of Representatives and through the Senate, they would then push through an anti-gerrymandering federal law that all federal elections have to be drawn with impartial state maps. That has actually been something that people have been trying to push through for a while. It fails every time. You can guess which side always says no to the anti-gerrymandering bills. And it will be interesting to see if that works. The brilliance, the sheer absolute brilliance that I just cannot overstate enough is that this won't happen unless they cheat first. And if they cheat first, they cannot, in any way, shape, or form, say that the other side can't do what they just did. I mean, they will. They'll try to. They do all the time. It's a do as I say, not as I do situation with the current people in power. The second thing that I would like to talk about, personally, that type of thing annoys me. And it has annoyed me for the past decade of having to put up with it from the resident of the White House. It is the insane tweets, the constant name calling, the absolute just word salad of absolute nonsense and the lies that he puts into those tweets. What Newsom has done, and I do believe, I read somewhere that it is actually a brilliant marketing woman who came up with this plan, is they are now writing tweets in the style of Donnie J. So these tweets, they irk me because I don't like that style. I don't like it. But what I do think about these is that any person reading them who thinks that Newsom should not be doing it, who has never once said that the frickin' person in the White House shouldn't be acting like a petty little toddler. His access to any type of social media should be cut off because he doesn't know how to speak. He doesn't know how to participate. He doesn't know how to do anything except bully others. Anyone who has not spoken out about that for the past 10 years cannot say a thing about Governor Newsom. Got no footing. These tweets are also getting a lot of attention. And the one thing that we know the toddler in the White House hates is other people getting ratings that are better than him, getting any type of accolade. He wants to turn the Kennedy Center into the frickin' Melania Trump Center. Are you kidding me? He is trying to erase everything from our history as a country that doesn't show him as the one true savior. It's absurd. It is disgusting. It is immoral. There's so many more words I could say. These tweets will probably go on for quite a bit longer. And I have some tips on how they can make them better. They're doing everything in all caps. He does a weird mixture of lowercase and capitalized, and then he'll randomly capitalize a random word in the middle of a sentence that should never be capitalized. It's not a name. It's not a noun. Like, who knows what's going on in that brain that seems to be losing the plot at this point. I read something else recently that they're keeping him distracted by redecorating, and that's why the Rose Garden, the absolute gorgeous Jackie Onassis Rose Garden, is now a paved marble slab Mar-a-Lago wannabe replica. That's why they have used gold everywhere in the White House, and that's why they're proposing, what is it, $200 million to change one of the areas into a freaking ballroom. So they got money for that, but they don't have money to feed kids. They don't have money to take care of the sick. They have billions to give to billionaires, more and more billions. But he's being kept distracted by redecorating. That leaves you with the question, all of us with the question, who's actually making the decisions? Because it sure doesn't seem like the man who spends all day whining about not having enough gold in the frickin' Oval Office or wherever. Doesn't seem like he's paying any attention to what's actually going on. These two things that Newsom is doing are a marked change in strategy. Pritzker of Illinois, he has upped his game, and so have a couple others of the current Democratic governors. And then there are also those people outside of an elected position at this time. Mayor Pete, also he was the transportation secretary. He has also been just phenomenal in what he's been doing. He's just great. Here in Iowa, we have the only elected Democrat in office is Rob Sand, and he is our state auditor. And he has joined the race to get the Democratic nomination for governor in the next election. And what he has been doing is he's going to every county. There's 99 of them in Iowa, and I'm not sure how many he's made it to so far, but he's having town halls and he's having conversations with everyone, with absolutely everyone. And he has been reelected multiple times, even when our state swung heavily to red in the past several elections. He has still, like I said, he's currently the only elected Democrat in office in Iowa. So he has a very good chance. There are so many candidates. I was getting a little worried because we hadn't had any candidates announced for the various districts that I live in for both federal and state level. And I was talking to some people within the realm of politics who've run before, and I was like, well, how do you do it? Like, what do you do? What is all this going on? And now we have got so many people in so many different races. It's going to be a plethora of choices for us as voters on the Democratic side to go in and sort of learn about them. And I say on the Democratic side because I have not seen any real challenges that I would even consider voting for on the Republican side. The only ones that I have heard about throwing their name in to challenge the incumbents are even more far right and more authoritarian and more billionaires are good than the current reps we have. And that is never going to get my vote, no matter what. So the Democratic side, if you are an independent in Iowa, I truly encourage you, genuinely encourage you. And even Republicans who are disillusioned with the candidates and the incumbents that we have, look at the Democratic candidates. Because if there is one that you like better than all the rest, have a say in that one, right? The way a party changes is by listening to the votes that come in. Now, caucusing is a freaking hot mess. Sorry, I've gone through the process a couple times now, and it's a hot mess. It's bulky and unwieldy, and it does not lend itself to people who are extremely busy, especially if you have more than one job. And how do you have time to go spend, like, you can't take time off to go spend it an evening going through this entire process. It's really not conducive to getting people's voices in. And I'm not entirely sure of the way to fix that. I would have to sort of sit down and research it and look into ways other countries do things, other states do things, other counties do things, and see what there could be to change and make it easier for people to get in, participate, and get out, right? Time is of the essence in a lot of these things, and the process is so unnecessarily bulky in so many, at least in the ways I've experienced it. But listening to the voices, if we don't step up and put our voices in, then the people who have the time, the people who have the money to have the time, they're the voices that are going to be heard over and over and over again. So this coming cycle, take a look at all the candidates. And I know there are a lot. So stick to the ones that you would be voting for if they were the candidate in your district, right? Your choices between them and whoever else from the other parties is on the ticket, right? Look at your ward, look at your precinct, look at your what is it? District. There you go. Gosh, that took a second, didn't it? Look at those candidates. And also, I would say, look at the top positions in the state. So obviously governor. I think auditor is going to be a very big one. Although last year in Iowa, the GOP rammed through this bill that basically destroys the power of the auditor's office to actually get what they need to audit. Why do you have to hide stuff, right? If you're not doing anything wrong, why do you have to hide stuff? I cannot understand how anyone supported this bill. That's a whole topic for another day. The offensive of these governors, of people, regular everyday people who are stepping up to throw their hat in the ring for all these various positions, it is amazing. And this is what people forget, is that the harder tyrants push people who want to be dictators in a way, and it doesn't matter whether it's in a company, in a family, in a state, in the country, like wherever you are, when someone pushes too far, more people stand up. In every society that has had a dictator, they have essentially caused their own downfall by creating the person who said, I've had enough, and making enough people say, I've had enough to support that other person. Seeing that so many people are being pushed out of their comfort zones, it sucks. I know it sucks. It is stressful if you let it be. But look for the people who are now standing up. Join them. It's never wrong to fight for rights. Truly, true rights for everyone. If you made it this far, thank you. We got a little bit circuitous and off track and took a detour there at the end, but I'll see you on the next one. Be kind to yourself.